All the family of a National Guardsman fighting for his life is asking for tonight is prayer. Good evening and thanks for joining us. I'm Amanda Barron. Today, West Virginia Senator Shelley Moore Capito took to the Senate floor to honor Specialist Sarah Beckstrom, who was killed in the line of duty. She also honored Staff Sergeant Andrew Wolf, who remains hospitalized after that shooting in our nation's capital 5 days ago. Here's what she had to say on the Senate floor.
I intend to introduce a resolution in this chamber to formally honor Specialist Beckstrom and Staff Sergeant Wolf. This resolution will reflect what every West Virginian already knows, that Sarah and Andrew represent the very best of our state, the very best of the National Guard, and the very best of America. The resolution also lets their families and loved ones know that the United States Senate will stand with them, support them during this terrible time, painful time, and for them to know that they are not alone. Madam President, West Virginians are tough, we're resilient, but we are deeply, deeply connected to our communities and to our values. When we lose one of our own, we all feel it. Today we mourn Specialist Sarah Beckstrom, and we pray hard for Staff Sergeant Andrew Wolf. We extend our love and support to their families and reaffirm our gratitude for every member of the West Virginia National Guard who continues to serve with courage and honor.
There is still no word tonight on the funeral arrangements for Specialist Beckstrom as her family continues to mourn her loss. For the first time tonight, the governor and Major General held a joint news conference to update us on the situation with the latest on the investigation and how members of the Guard are doing in the wake of the tragedy. We have team coverage for you tonight. Mitchell Hoy will join us with more on that topic, how the Guard is doing, in just a moment. But first, let's go live to the West Virginia State Capitol. That's where we find Sarah Davis. And Sarah, the governor is asking for the public to respect the family's wishes in all cases.
That's exactly right, Amanda. In his update this morning, Morrissey put a huge emphasis on who's in charge when it comes to this situation. He made it very clear that he will not overstep either of the family's wishes when sharing information with the public, who is continuing to ask questions on this situation. But the newest update is this. Wolf, who's continuing to fight for his life in the hospital, is showing some signs of improvement. Morrissey did say today Wolf was responding to nurses by giving them a thumbs up and wiggling his toes. Morrissey says the only thing his mom is wanting from anyone right now is prayer. We know multiple vigils were held across the state for both of the Guardsmen. I actually had the chance to attend 2 of those vigils for Beckstrom, and I can tell you her hometown is heartbroken over this tragedy. And with the holidays right in the middle of this, it's even harder for them to come to terms with what exactly happened in D.C. And as for the arrangements for Beckstrom, Morrissey said he will not cross that boundary.
This is going to be dictated by the family, and I want to show great respect for them. I know that there are going to be a lot of questions about the timeline for when this occurs. Just as we learn things, we'll be happy to pass them along to you.
He says the public has a right to be angry and frustrated over the situation, but more so, the families of these 2 Guardsmen have a right to tell their stories their way and on their own timeline. For now, reporting live from the Capitol, Sarah Davis, Tonight Live.
Sarah, thanks. Adjutant General James Seward spoke at Governor Morrissey's news conference today about where the National Guard stands after the incident. Mitchell Hoy joins us to fill us in on how these troops are holding up. He says it's not easy, Mitch.
Yeah, Amanda, thank you so much. Adjutant General of West Virginia James Seward said in Governor Morrissey's news conference today that the loss of one of their Guardsmen is akin to losing a family member. Grief is widespread in the ranks of the West Virginia Guard. Denial, anger, and bargaining are the early stages of the grieving process, and it's exactly what General Seward said he sees his soldiers going through. The general went on to express just how proud he was of Specialist Sarah Beckstrom and Staff Sergeant Andrew Wolf. General Seward explained that the 2 Guardsmen were doing exactly what they were supposed to be doing at the time of the attack and were adequately prepared for the mission, and the general remains confident in his soldiers' ability to complete the mission in the nation's capital.
In briefings with senior law enforcement officials in the district this week, I will tell you that dozens of them have told me, those involved in the investigation, that our members performed their duties as they have been trained.
Guardsmen deployed to D.C. act as deputized U.S. Marshals while in the district and are armed when on patrol. The governor in general declined to comment on what the two guardsmen's military occupational specialty is and if they received any specialized training prior to the deployment, as it may relate to the criminal investigation into the shooting. Reporting in the studio, Mitchell Hoy, Tonight Live.
Mitch, thanks. Today, the Democrats are calling for some answers and clarification on what exactly the mission of the National Guard is as a part of the deployment to Washington, D.C. He is questioning the Democratic Party chair whether or not it is beautification or if it's truly public safety. Here's some of my conversation with Mike Pushkin.
Governor Morrisey owes it to the people of West Virginia and owes it to the men and women who serve in our National Guard to clarify the mission of their deployment. Is it, as President Trump says, are they there to fight crime, or as the record shows, for beautification projects? Either way, they should never be there for politics. This isn't about politics. It's about accountability, it's about transparency, and it's honoring the sacrifice of our National Guard.